Oh. Oh. Ist von ihr vielleicht das Skript? Maybe.
That novelist, Bridget Boswell, is actually you, Marcella?
Oder so. Dear Marcella, or should I say Bridget, you know I prefer a good old crime story, but at last but last week I came upon a romance novel with an intriguing title and they were roommates. Entschuldigung, das ist Wein, ne? Also, I bought it on an impulse at a train station and read it from cover to cover during the journey. Can you imagine my surprise when I recognized our story? You may have changed the names and locations, but all of our moments are there. Our endless discussions in the dorm rooms, our first date at the theater, our trip to Quebec City. You often said writers are thieves, but I never fully understood until now. It has been almost 10 years since I received your last letter. The letter that painted our relationship as nothing more than a summer fling. Hab eben Schokolade gegessen und hab mega den fusseligen Mund. At first I could not believe you had written those words. When I waited in vain for your answer and had to accept your love for me had never been real. For many years I was broken-hearted, angry, confused. I questioned the nature of our feeling, of our attraction, and made many wrong decisions. But this book, your book, am I foolish to think it's proof you really loved me? In any case, I hope you are well and I am happy to see you accomplished your dream of becoming a writer. Wahrscheinlich Transcendent ist halt yours truly. Sowas in die Richtung.
Oh, Anne. Murder might be a bit much, but you deserve some kind of justice.
Dear Marcella, I didn't expect you to reply to my letter, but I am happy to see I was wrong. Your words have comforted me in a time of great distress. If only Luis was half the man you say Hector is. He has quite a temper and hits me frequently. I am willing to put up with it as long as he doesn't hurt Michael, but there are some days when it becomes almost unbearable. The other day I dreamt of our first date. We were watching The Postman Only Rings Twice again, but suddenly we were in the movie. You were Lana Turner and I was John Garfield, and we were both plotting to kill my husband. I hate to admit it, but I almost hope it was premonitory. TBH, kill him. Do it. To answer your question, I do still have our box. My brother is currently in Atlanta for work, and I was thinking of going to see him with Michael next month. If you are able to meet me there, we could open the box together, open the box together, and laugh at the silly things we thought important all those years ago. I hope to hear from you soon. P.S. Do you remember that secret language we invented so Sister Miller couldn't understand the notes we were passing during her class? I still do.
I do like a happy ending. I just hope that's where your story is headed.
Dear Marcella, thank you for sending me a signed version of your latest novel. I think it's your greatest work yet, but I do have a few comments to help make the next one even better. First, I believe Rose should be more concerned with that she deserves that what her husband deserves. Oh, das ist auch so von der Realität inspiriert. He may not deserve the pain she will cause by leaving him, but they both deserve to be happy, and they won't be as long as they remain together, as long as she doesn't listen to her own needs. Also, I think it would be great if your next novel ended on a more positive note. Imagine if Rose left her husband and rode into the sunset with Eve. Imagine if they went to New York or Los Angeles, some place where people like us are tolerated. Imagine if they got to have their happy ending. It would be the best story ever. I hope you consider it. Kleinen Schluck trinken, damit ich auch weiterlesen kann. P.S. I know you say invisibility protects us, but don't you just wish to be seen sometimes? Wouldn't you like people to know you are Bridget Boswell, to recognize you on the street, to recognize you for your work. Why not publish your next novel under your own name? Vielleicht hat der hier Stock 6 ist doch dieser wahrscheinlich Director. Maybe eine Real-Life-Verfilmung.
Oh, so you came to Montreal under the pretense of celebrating your wedding anniversary. But all along, you meant to reunite with Anne.
Dear Marcella, I left the house. I left Louis. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't lie anymore. How do you do it? How do you manage to live a double life, to hide your work and your novels from your husband? I had so much less to hide, and yet. Michael and I are staying at the Clarendon Hotel until we find a place to stay and the divorce is done. I don't know how long it will take. Could you come and see me in Montreal? I really need you by my side right now. P.S. I wouldn't put it past Louis to score every hotel guest book in the region looking for me under his surname. So I've registered under the name Beaumont. Ah. Mensch.
There's a lot of stuff in here. I don't think I've looked at everything yet. After all this, turns out you're a fan of Bridget? Of Marcella? That's a lot sweeter than I expected.
Dear Marcella, although you don't know me, I think I can safely say I'm your biggest fan. Your novels have literally changed my life. After the war, I spent almost 10 years in a psychiatric hospital because of panic attacks. None of the treatments were working, and I wasn't getting any better. I became friends with one of the nurses who started lending me books so I could pass the time. I didn't really like the first one, but then I picked up Bridget Boswell's first novel. Your novel. I had never read such a beautiful love story. It almost brought tears to my eyes. I immediately urged to the nurse to get me more of your books. Believe it or not, the more I read them, the less panic attacks I had. The doctor thought it was their new medication finally working, but I knew the truth. Das ist ja der Typ, der in 505 ist. Und ich habe so ein bisschen die Befürchtung, dass der stalkt ja Hector und Marcella, dass der die so ein bisschen, wobei er weiß ja, glaube ich, nicht, wobei, wenn er die halt wirklich stalkt, also wirklich stalkt, wird er ja sicherlich von Anne wissen, je nachdem, wie tief er stalkt. Und meine Theorie ist jetzt, dass er die stalkt, weil er den Mann umbringen möchte, weil er halt möchte, dass so seine Lieblingscharaktere, weißt du, wenn er halt weiß, okay, Anne existiert, wird er safe die Connections machen, wenn er die Bücher gelesen hat. Hey, das passt irgendwie zu denen, dass er halt den Hector umbringen will. Ich bin gespannt. Your novels gave me the courage to get in contact with Lindsay, a friend from the war. I had always felt for him the same way your characters felt for each other, but I had never dared telling him. Now I have to thanks to you, the thought of seeing him again is what motivated me to get better and leave the hospital. I hope to hear back from him soon. Oh nein. Ich habe Angst, die nächste Seite zu lesen. Was ist, wenn das jetzt nicht gut ausging mit dem Lindsay? After my discharge, I wanted to thank you for everything you've done for me. I've discovered Bridget was a pseudonym. So tracking you down took longer than I thought. Fortunately, I am very patient and resourceful man and never give up. Do you think we could meet? I have so much more to tell you. Paul. Das nimmt ein bisschen creepy. Also das war davor schon creepy. So ist nicht. Aber jetzt ist das so, also natürlich, er war auch vorher ein Stalker, aber es ist jetzt nochmal so ein anderes Level von Obsessed Stalker.
I'm glad you were able to open up to Marcella like this. Everyone needs someone to talk to.
Dear Marcella, thank you for answering my letter. I realize now how unsettling it must have been for you. Please forgive me for tricking your editor into giving me your address. I know I shouldn't have done that. I wanted to thank you as well for your encouraging words concerning Lindsay. I still haven't heard from him, him, and I'm starting to fear I might have the wrong address. I wish I could take a train to Virginia, but that's not an option right now, as I can barely pay the rent. I guess I will have to find a job. As a kid, I dreamt of being an actor, a Hollywood star. Same, bestie. Same. I know it's a foolish dream. Same. But what else can I do? What am I good at? I've tried getting some odd jobs already, but employers turn me down as soon as they learn where I've spent the last 10 years of my life. If it continues like this, I probably end up on the streets like so many of my army buddies. Why am I even telling you all this? After reading your book and getting to know you through them, I tend to forget I'm only a stranger to you. I hope you don't mind. You seem to be a good listener, and I've been feeling rather lonely ever since I left the hospital. Anyway, please tell me more about your life, and do not hesitate to write long letters. I must have read your previous one 1,000 times already. Paul. Weniger weird als der erste Brief, trotzdem noch ziemlich stalker-like.
An advance on my salary. So Marcella hired you. But what for?
Dear Marcella, I've just received a letter from Lindsay's mother. She tells me he's dead. Aww. Words cannot even begin to describe how empty I feel. He died 2 years ago, before I even sent my first letter. You will never know my feelings for him, and I will never know if he could have loved me back. I guess I should have known this world end in pain, just like your novels. I wish I had Lindsay's ability to find beauty everywhere. Even during the war, amidst the death and chaos, he would marvel at the forest of Germany, at the sun, the birds. He loved birds so much. Deswegen auch das Vogelbuch in seinem... Oh, tut mir halt schon echt leid. He could identify them... He could identify just by listening to the songs. I have to admit, your proposition took me by surprise. I was hesitant to leave home at first. I was afraid to miss Lindsay's answer, but now there's nothing keeping me here. I'm desperately for anything that would help me forget the pain. But I don't have enough money to make it to Texas. Do you think you could give me an advance on my salary? Geld. In spite of everything, I'm really excited to know I'll finally meet you, Paul.
So this was all a story about star-crossed lovers, with the lovers in question being Mrs. Beaumont and Mrs. Cruz?
Seems like it, yeah. But I'm not sure whether they chose to meet here just to reconnect for a few days, or if there's something more to it.
Actually, I think I can help with that.
Really? How?
Well, some mail just arrived here for Mrs. Beaumont.
Öffne es nicht. Ja, I wonder what's inside. Aber nicht open it. Es ist, Kinders, Briefgeheimnis. Wir sind zwar in Kanada, aber da wird es ja sicherlich auch das Briefgeheimnis geben. Nee. Hey.
I wonder what's in it.
Me too.
Should we open it?
Nein.
That's illegal, isn't it?
Ja.
But
Nein.
sometimes the mail arrives a little damaged, you know?
Ein bisschen.
Oops.
Kaputt.
So?
It's a tourism pamphlet for California and 3 train tickets. What do you think this means?
I'd say Anne and Marcella are probably planning to run away from their husbands. Those train tickets must be for them and Michael.
So you're on a first-name basis now, huh?
Well, after reading so much of their correspondence, I kind of feel like I know them, you know?
Yeah, like characters in a book. I have to say, though, I'm still a bit confused as to how Paul fits into all of this.
So, he was a fan of Marcella. Marcella hired him. I'm not sure. Ja. Ich würde sagen, er war ja als erstes ein Fan.
Turns out he's a big fan of Marcella.
He is? Why?
She writes pulp fiction under his pseudonym. I think her books gave Paul a chance to get out of his own head while he was staying in a psychiatric hospital.
I get it. Books have always been a way to escape for me too. But why did he have pictures of you?
We'll probably never know. I think the trail ends here.
I guess investigations in real life always have some loose ends. I was kinda hoping we'd have this big third act reveal, to be honest.
At least it made our day pretty interesting.
That's
True.
for sure. It helped me understand you better, too.
Oh?
Why
Oh.
you snoop,
Aw.
I mean. Piecing together people's stories, learning what makes them tick. It makes you realize we may have more in common than it seems.
You're right. Which is why the next story I'd like to learn is yours, Andrew.
Oh? Am I gonna find you snooping through my apartment next?
No.
Maybe.
I would love to share my story with you, Sophie. You're the first person in a long time who's made me feel like I can.
No.
Would you come and see me when your shift ends? We could leave together, if you'd like.
Sure. If we're able to. With all that snow, I'm thinking maybe we'll have no choice but to spend the night here.
Guess
Oh.
that wouldn't be so bad. We could set up a pillow fort on the mezzanine.
A pillow fort? We do work in a hotel, you know. There are actual beds here.
Oh, I wouldn't be sleeping. I've got a reading list the size of the Eiffel Tower.
Ich dachte, es geht in eine
Perfect
ganz
chance to
andere
put a dent
Richtung.
in it.
That does sound like fun. I could bring my magazines and, ooh, maybe light some of Rebecca's candles.
Now I kinda hope we do get stuck here.
So wie das zum Fenster schwenkt, sind die wahrscheinlich.
I just have to finish my tasks for the day, and then I can leave.
So wie das eben zum Fenster geschwungen hat, ist das safe, dass die halt eingeschneit werden. Aber ich dachte für eine Sekunde, das geht in eine ganz andere Richtung. Er meinte, hä? Ich hab nicht viel schlafen vor. Okay, ne? So. Past, present and future. The two keys, the letters back and forth, all of the shared memories, neatly preserved for more than a decade. Anne and Marcella were in love. There's no doubt about it. But then Marcella broke things off, feeling the burden of their secret. She felt that if they parted ways and hid all of this under lock and key, that she should have a normal life. Now Anne and Marcella are both here at the Clarendon, over a decade later, in ejected rooms. I don't think their story is over just yet. Anne's riddle. According to one of the letters in the chest, Anne brought Marcella something that needs a 4-letter key to open. Could that be the case I found on Marcella's bed in 509? I need to figure out 2 5-letter words, both related to Anne and Marcella's past. Puzzling it out, I'm lucky that Andrew is, as Beth would say, a total nerd. He explained that for a phrase to be alliterative, the first letter of each word has to be the same. So we need to find the name of a woman whose first and last name starts with the same letter. Warum ne Frau? Da stand nie was von einer Frau. Beth was able to help out the first hint. Thank goodness she knows about the city's nightlife, because I wouldn't even know where to start. She suggested Anne's favorite bar might be the White Cat, so I need to find something that refers to its opposite, a black cat. All's well that ends well. After looking inside Marcella's typewriter case, I think I've finally fallen into place. I think everything, nicht I. What the fuck? Wie lese ich denn bitte everything als I? Habe ich das überhaupt? Ich weiß nicht. In meinem Kopf, ja. There are a few lingering... in der Luft hängende Fragen. But I think this is far as the story goes for now. Anne and Marcella arranged to be here at the same time so that they could rekindle the relationship they started when they were in college. I really feel for them after spending the day learning their story. I hope it has a happy ending. Happy ending. Meine Güte. So, Und ich sehe es jetzt kommen. Ich sollte das vielleicht wegschmeißen, ne? Ist das der... Ja. Ja. Sonst weiß die Person, die jetzt nicht, dass hier ist, ja, dass wir am Snoopen waren. So, aber irgendwo habe ich vergessen, die Handtücher hinzutun. Au! Das dauert lange, bis das wieder sauber ist. Oh, wer liegt da? Mit dem Kopf so halb im Fahrstuhl drin. Der Chef? Ist das der Chef? Ich hatte für eine Sekunde Angst, dass der Andrew liegt. Ich dachte, nein.
Mr. Cruz?
Oh. Ich hab dir gesagt, Hector wird getötet. Ich dachte, das wäre der Chef.
Mr. Cruz. Oh God. Oh God. What happened? Mr. Cruz's life insurance policy. Why did he have this on him? Is this about Paul? Does that mean...
Ich hab's gecallt. Ich hab's gecallt. Thank you for reporting that guest's unacceptable behavior. We will look into it as soon as possible. However, I regret to inform you that we cannot divulge a guest's personal information regardless of that guest's behavior. As I am sure you will understand, we are very concerned with our guest's privacy and our staff prides itself on its discretion. Please contact us should that guest bother you again. Bernard Litter. Oh. Was hat ihn überhaupt getötet? Und warum ist die Spur von hier den Flur runter? Weil das, also, wenn ich mich halt jetzt so richtig erinnere, sieht die Spur, finde ich, eher so aus, als wäre da die Leiche längs gezogen worden. Aber die Blutlache sieht halt so aus, als wäre der da ermordet worden. Achso, wo war er? Weil in seinem Raum war er ja nicht, da waren wir. Ich habe immer noch die 2 Handtücher. Kann ich die benutzen, um das Blut aufzuwischen? Was mache ich denn jetzt?
Please let there be someone around who can help.
Nee, ne. Hector, what on earth happened? I was on the 5th floor and I heard the elevator door ringing repeatedly, so I went to check it out. I found Hector's body between the elevator doors, lying in a pool of blood. I checked his pulse and couldn't feel anything. On his person were 2 pieces of paper, a letter from Bernard and a copy of Hector's life insurance policy. My head is swirling with questions. What does it all mean? How did this happen? How did this happen? Who could have done this to Hector? If this was in fact someone else doing. Lights out. And away we go. Da sind wir wieder bei Formel 1. Es tut mir leid. And the lights went out as if the situation wasn't ominous enough. I need to get the power running again, and then I'll figure out what to do about poor Hector. May as well try fiddling with the fuse box in the janitor's closet.